Well, hello, hi, it is me, it is I, small town Didi, you're a on the internet, hello, yala kastracha, I'm back. Lots happened on my TikTok. Guys, TikTok is like an overwhelming platform for me in that I wanna respond. It's like, because you can't put your thoughts out there and then just leave people to like, chat among yourselves. That's weird as fuck. But the influx at which the comments come, I'm not wired to deal with that. I try my best to get to the comments, especially because I feel like people are really just having discourse. Like I haven't yet experienced a lot of malice and things of that nature. Just people who don't agree with you, not agreeing with you, and people who agree with you, agreeing with you. So I've been lucky in that regard so far. It's still overwhelming to like go to sleep and then wake up and then there is X number of, and like, guys, my platform is this. It's not even this. It's like what platform, like, and like, what are the other people like? How are they keeping up with that? Anyway, let's get into it. Last week I stitched something. I'm going to attach it here. You're gonna have a look at that, and then we're gonna come back and have the chat, right?
Dear Black South Africans, are you okay? Let's have a frank conversation about employment. You might hate me. One thing South Africans will do is complain about the lack of employment, complain once they have a job, and complain once they get fired. You see? And we wonder why employers are choosing to hire foreigners. It's because of the work ethic. It's because of the attitude that we bring towards work. Let's look at a service, for example, food service. I don't know if it's a lack of education or a lack of general knowledge, but you need to understand how a business works, right? If customers don't come and buy from you, then you won't have money at the end of the month in terms of a salary. Does that make sense? So in other words, you cannot be working and get angry when people come and we're asking questions and, can you please give me this, give me that, and you've got an attitude. Stay home. Someone else could fill up in that position. There's somebody else who desperately needs a job. You see this every single day. There's a McDonald's, corner Glenhove and Oxford. You walk in there, beautiful black woman, I think she's a manager. She greets you and she says, how can I help you? And she helps you set up the screens, if whatever the case may be. She tells you to have the app and all of this, and you feel so welcomed at McDonald's. McDonald's needs to give this young lady a raise because she's doing an incredible job. But you can feel the tension between her and the other employees. You can actually feel it. And the reason for this is they don't want to work. They want to do the bare minimum. And she's actually doing her job as a manager. So they're making her look like she's doing the most. And I can hear the background conversations. And I know exactly how it goes. It's like, oh, she thinks she's all of that. She thinks her parents own McDonald's. She thinks they're going to give her McDonald's. No, she's just doing her job. She's been praying for so long for this job to be promoted. And now that she's going to do her job and she's making you look bad. It's not the fact that she wants to be seen by white people and be promoted. It's the fact that she's actually doing her job and she's getting paid for it. Maybe you should try it sometime. And of course, this is not generalized to every single South African. It's not like that. But we've seen it within the government facilities, home affairs, clinics. Tell me I'm wrong. We've seen it all over the place. And what we need to do as a nation is we need to work on that attitude. And maybe people will hire you more if you don't come with that attitude. Maybe they'll hire you more if you don't have excuses on a Friday and on a Monday because you're hungover. Just saying.
So I stitched this. It's on my TikTok. I think I'll attach I'll have the link to the stitch. What I said. I was having popcorn. I'm sorry, guys. Because then it's gonna get too long because I'm gonna get into the details of what I meant. The other thing I find frustrating, about TikTok. It's a great machine for generating content, for hearing people's thoughts, where people are, and then I can come on here that's longer form and try to elaborate as best as I can and be as nuanced as I can. But I'm very off the cuff, so sometimes I'm like, videos like this require me to make notes so I can get all my thoughts out, as opposed to the reviews and stuff. That's like cute little banter, like let's just be cute and whatever. But I made sure to make note of the things that she said because I was going to forget all the things that she said. She made mention of our work ethic and our attitude, and that if we didn't have such a poor work ethic and such a bad attitude, that they would hire us more. Rubbish. Who would hire us more? What work ethic? Why do we keep talking about this? Why do we keep making like your work ethic is what? No. And she's like, that's why they hire foreigners more. They hire foreigners more because foreigners don't have as much recourse as us, if at all. They can fire them on a whim. They can underpay them. They can mistreat them. They don't have the kind of recourse that you would have in any country. If I go somewhere and I'm a foreigner, especially if I'm there illegally, I'm not going to make a noise when you ill-treat me. And I'm not going to make a noise if you're underpaying me. Chances are I'm there because things are bad in my country, right? I can't like make a living in my country. So if I left home to come here, the bit that I make here, I want to send home. So I'm not going to be making a lot of noise and complaining. It has nothing to do with our work ethic. I have no idea. There's a constant need to remove the responsibility from the people who are actually doing wrong and constantly putting it on us as like black. She addressed like Black South Africans. Very condescending, her tone. Hey, I think she's pretty though, so maybe I'll get over it. Yeah, like pretty privilege is real. I'm like, she's cute. Like, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? But and then she talks about, she's like so condescending. I don't know if it's like our lack of education. What? Come again? I don't know if it's our lack of education where we don't understand how a business runs. Girl, what? I understand. I'm tired. I understand I got up at this hour and I'm over here at this job and you're underpaying me and making like you're doing me a favor. And so yes, I'm stank and I'm fucking mad. What else do you need me to understand there? She says it's our lack of knowledge and education as to how a business works and how we arrive at getting paid. That honestly, when she said that, I was like, girl. I'm moving past this quickly because it's a different chat I want to have. This is expired to me, right? I want to actually talk about the thing that is having people comment on my TikTok right now. But it's linked to this. So I must get through these points with you so you understand how I got to where I got to. Okay? And then she says that she makes an example of a McDonald's that she frequents and how there's this lovely lady there that's so helpful and McDonald's should give that young lady a raise. No, they fucking won't, okay? I don't care how much she jumps up and down and like does things that aren't supposed to be done in there because she's trying to prove her worth or keep her job or whatever. She's not getting a raise. She's just getting, oh, thank you, Mavis. You did so well. That's all the fuck she's getting. And then she says because she works so hard, it creates tension in the workspace, right? She says that she's experienced in that workspace, that the other people who work there have an attitude toward this hardworking individual with this great work ethic, right? And it's because she makes them look bad. You're right, but you're kind of wrong, right? In that you're over here doing the utmost, moving mountains and doing all these things. That makes me look bad in that they like the powers that be are sitting and thinking, no, but this one is doing all of this for peanuts. Like, why would we need to give them more? Like, Miss Grateful, who prayed for it, she says that, right? Because that's the other thing. We need to be grateful. We prayed for it. If you don't want to be here, somebody else will be here. Miss, I'm so grateful. I'm going to do the utmost while I'm being paid this much. I'm going to do this much. You're making the rest of us look bad because those of us who know are getting paid this much, we're also doing this much. Look, these things need to match. It's a combo. It's a combo. So when you are doing, when you are doing all of this stuff and jumping around and doing things that's when they get rid of us, right? At this job, that's already like the fucking pit. That's when they're like, no, let's get another one who can do the jumping jacks and stuff. Let's do another one who's going to be doing burpees out here, acting like this is the best thing that's ever happened to them. And it creates a situation where they never have to meet us where we are in terms of paying us a livable wage. They never have to do that because there you are doing the utmost without one. You're the one poisoning the fucking well here. If we all were just slouching about and being sloths, they'll be like, okay, what's a great motivator? We want more money. They give us more money and then they see us show up with this great work ethic that she wants us to show up with. But now that we've addressed that, which was quite quick. And there's a lot else going on with her that I don't want to deal with. But what happened in the comments with this is that people were saying stupid things like, why don't you just start your own businesses? And why don't you just this? And then that gave me another, like, it flooded my TikTok with these, like, people thinking entrepreneurship is the solution to the unemployment situation that we're facing as the Black South African youth in particular. I understand that a lot of people are facing this, but I'm talking about us in particular. So when that happened, and I had all of these people saying this in the comments and all of these videos coming at me, one particular video stuck out to me and I didn't save it, so I couldn't stitch it. And the lady stitches was on, so I can't even say she did anything. It was me. I didn't save the video. Anyway, not that people don't have to have their stitches off, okay? Don't cry. But she said in the video that there's this tendency that we have this thing of saying markets are oversaturated. And that's not true. If that were true, there wouldn't be so many clothing brands in the same mall and this. You know the spiel about, oh, you're going to stand out and God has put something different in you and you're going to come with this new thing. Half of you aren't even that creative, so I don't know where you get that rubbish. But like, you think you're going to reinvent the wheel every day. Like, it's like, girl, no, like, you're not about to come with a new wheel. Like, girl, what? She says this, and then she named some markets that were interesting to me, in that these are the markets that we tend to occupy a lot as Black people in this country, Black youth in particular. But then it's also the narrative for me that the powers that be can sell us ideas of creating employment, or like somebody said on my TikTok, trying to be cute, creating environments for, in fact, that's not what the fuck they say when they want our votes. They tell us they're going to create work. They don't tell us that they're going to create a conducive environment. No. They tell us what they tell us, right? Whether or not we believe them, I don't vote for them people. We go to the polls, we vote, and then when they're in power, they tell us it's on us to create this employment for ourselves. And they've said it long enough. We now think entrepreneurship is how we get out of this. We have actually bought into the fact that, let me tell you something, you will claw, you will put in that elbow grease to the fucking grave. Do you understand me? Like, this is not child's play. I actually don't know what to tell you at this point to make you believe that now, a girl, you're the next, I don't know who, that nail tech, what Cardi B. You're not. She mentions the nail industry. She mentions cooking, like the blade, like, you know, when you're, and she's like, some of you are prideful and why you won't do some of these things. I agree with that. Some of us just feel like, maybe it's not pride, it's hurt, right? I studied, I did this, I did that, and I can't get a job. And you're frustrated and you just feel like you can't do anything else that isn't directly linked to this thing you studied for. It takes a while for your brain to like figure its way around your situation, and we don't need to be labeling people all manner of ugly things. This is a journey and we're all on it. We don't need to call them lazy, or we don't need to say, oh, she thinks she's too good for this. At the moment, I don't feel like I can do this function. Like, I actually don't feel like I can perform the function of what Biadi played. Also, maybe I can't cook, okay? But it's the nail one that was interesting to me because it mirrors my industry in the dynamics that I've noticed. The thing about an oversaturated market that we don't seem to want to get into is that it drives the quality and the price of whatever it is you guys are doing in that industry way down, making it very hard to live off of your craft if it's nails in this instance. If there's too many of us in this space now offering the service, everybody wants their share of the market, right? We're all trying to claw and keep our little piece of the market. That's what's happening there. That's when you get people undercharging. The lowballing shit starts happening because other people just want to look busy, or they believe that if I charge lower now, I can capture a bit of the share, and then once they hear and they see how good I am and they're comfortable with me and I'm their go-to, I can increase the prices so slightly. That's a person who can afford to do that. That's you are in a privileged position if you can afford to say, with this product that I just purchased, let me just get people in the door and then I'll figure out a way. Hopefully I break even, but you won't. You'll actually run at a loss. Hopefully I break even and then I can restock, and then maybe I'll start charging to actually make a profit here. Big gamble. Huge. Because when you up your prices, the next person who's also coming into the market trying to capture their share, they also just like charge below you, right? Now your people aren't coming back, and so forth and so on. There's a handful of people really who have the kind of disposable income where quality is gonna matter to them, so they'll keep coming back to you. You're gonna lose people. You will lose people. You really, really will, right? And these industries, I've realized, or these makeup, the beauty sector in its little pockets and stuff, you can make your little money that might address like your bread and butter issues. In the long run, can you make the kind of money that can provide you the kind of security that somebody in a high paying or more traditional career has? Because I've yet to see a lot of us scale to a sorbet, right? We as Black people don't necessarily have the kind of resources and capacity that allows us to get to that scale. And we can't lie about this. We can count the Batu, we can count the Porsche Ames, we can count, but you can count them on your one hand. You can actually count them. And then there's Mamang Mang, Salarukang from 93, Lenaba Mudicho Entrepreneurship, right? But she's never been able to sustain herself in the way that a person waking up in the morning to go and teach kids is able to sustain herself. And that's what I mean when I say it's not going to save you. It's because our inability to scale is so rife and it's systematic. Like the odds are stacked against us. Now, if I'm doing these nails and I decide that I want my own shop, how do I go about doing that? Have I made enough money in this oversaturated market to even do that? Can I get funding for it? Is it considered too volatile to invest in and the return on it is not worth it? You guys are delusional. No amount of rickshaw plate. Like not everybody scales, like gets to the scale of a catering bay, the catering lady that from Instagram, where you start off from Wapi, just, and then you get to it doesn't happen for everybody. And she can only employ so many people as well. The government, in as much as we know that we can't really rely on them, they still don't get to make like they do not owe it to us to find a way to employ us or pour into industries that can absorb a large number of the youth. They can't keep getting away with that. And then you guys making this an individual problem like you do everything else, you give them a way out to say, yeah, like, you as the youth, we must with what, guys? With what? The other thing I've realized that it's this pseudo middle class shit that has you guys fucked in the head. It really has you guys messed up. You, who is like me, who comes from a situation like mine, my home situation, you're not the average South African. I said this already. You're not. The fact that you have this little bit much to go and do a little nail course because you're sitting at home and you're bored, or even if you don't have it, you have like a community of people who can gather up a little something, this, and then you quickly like wanyakadilo and you start practicing with Yamanala. You're not the average South African. The average South African is on fucking grant. And with that 300 and something rands, you are running around here telling people to start businesses. You just in the fucking head. Like, what are you even talking about? It's insulting. It is so insulting. Why don't you just take like the grant money? What do I eat in the meantime? Get you the grant money to go learn how to do nails. Is it 300 and something to learn how to do nails? Like, you guys are actually crazy in the head. Like, I actually don't think you guys are serious. Have you been outside? Have you actually bothered to leave your comfort, to leave your little cocoon and just step outside and see the reality of what people are actually dealing with? Have you bothered to exit you for a second to actually see what the average South African deals with? No, you haven't. You're on the internet with Didi using big English, doing back and forth, discussing people's actual living conditions like it's a subject. Discussing poverty like it's a textbook issue. Seeing who knows the correct jargon, right? Seeing who can make a better argument while people actually have to live these lives that you're telling them that it's on them. They need to claw their way as if they designed the system that has them stuck in that place. You okay? No, you're fucking not. I can tell you now you're not. It's upsetting to me. It's really upsetting. I really don't think we understand how poor we are or how poor our people are if you are like an inch removed. We have relatives, extended relatives of our own, where we've seen that they aren't even living in suitable housing. And you're telling me that entrepreneurship is what's going to solve this, right? Because the other lie you guys have been peddling for a while now is that it doesn't take money. It takes information. It's about what you know and how you can leverage. Leverage when I'm hungry. How I fucking begin to leverage when I'm starving. Like, what are you talking about? Like, oh! Do you ever just sit with your thoughts and be like, is this real life or is this just the people I know? Because honestly, for me, it's just the people I know. Once I leave the circle of people I know, it's rough. I've noticed that people have it worse than me and I have it kind of bad. So I'm like, shit, if this is what I'm going through, if I'm having this harder time making things make sense with all the resources and the network that I have, what more the next person who has even less? You guys are disgusting. You actually are. Mwah, bye. Today, so just bye, okay? Bye.